Hello everyone. Welcome back to the online content for information technology for class 10th, and today we will begin with the session 2 of spreadsheet, where we will learn about formulas, functions, sorting, printing and password protection features of a spreadsheet using OpenOffice Calc spreadsheet. Let us first see how we can use formula and functions in a worksheet. The formula means a mathematical calculation on a set of cells. Formulas must start with an equal to sign. When a cell contains a formula, it often contains references to other cells also. Such a cell reference is a type of variable. Now let us consider a real life worksheet for a bill as shown in figure. The column value is dependent upon two other columns, price and quantity, as it is equal to the price into quantity. If the price and quantity changes, the value also changes. Such type of relationships are depicted through formula in a worksheet as shown in the figure. Let us see the figure now. This is a manual worksheet where a company ABC store is maintaining its bill using a worksheet, and there are 5 columns: serial number, item, price, quantity and values. The values in serial number, item, price and quantities are already filled, and we are supposed to calculate the value column by using formula price into quantity. So now we will see how we can do this using an electronic worksheet such as calc. First of all, we type the heading serial number in cell A5, item in B5, price in C5, quantity in D5 and value in E5. Now we enter all entries except for column 5, where we are supposed to calculate the values. To obtain the values in value column, place the cell pointer in E6 first and then type the formula as follows: equal to C6 into D6, and finally press enter key. As soon as we press enter key, the calculated results get displayed in the worksheet. Now copy this cell onto the rest two cells of values column, that is on E7 and E8. The same you can see in the figure also. Now let us see what is cell referencing in a worksheet. A cell reference identifies the location of a cell or group of cells in a spreadsheet. It is also referred as cell address. Cell references are used in formulas, functions, charts, and other Excel commands, and also refer to a group of range of cells. Ranges are identified by the cell references of the cells in the upper left, that is cell A1, and lower right, that is cell E2 corners, if we have a range A1 to E2. The ranges are identified using a colon sign, for example A1 colon E2, which tells Excel to include all the cells between these starting and ending points, that is A1 and E2. Now let us discuss the type of referencing that are used in a worksheet. First of all, relative reference. By default, a cell reference is relative, which means that as a formula or function is copied and pasted to other cells, the cell references in the formula or function changes to reflect the new location, for example C5 or C9. So the process is depicted in the given figure. You can have a look on this. The second is absolute reference. The other cell reference is absolute cell reference, which consists of column letter and row number surrounded by dollar sign. dollar sign. For example, dollar C and dollar 4. So we can notice that before column letter and row number, we place a dollar sign. An absolute cell reference is used when we want to cell reference to stay fixed on a specific cell, which means that when a formula or function is copied and pasted to other cells, the cell reference in the formula or function do not change. So in case of absolute cell reference, the formula the cell references in the formula or function do not change on copying them from one cell to other cell. Then the third one is mixed reference. Mixed reference means either we freeze column or we freeze row. It is also a cell reference that holds either row or column constant when the formula or function is copied to another location. So either column or the row is fixed or remain constant while copying formula one place to other place. Now next thing is order of calculation. Order of calculation refers to the sequence of operators in which the numerical operations are performed. Division and multiplication have higher precedence than addition and subtraction operator. So in any mathematical calculation, division and multiplication will take place first, and then the addition and subtraction will take place. For example, we have an expression 11 plus 3 into 2 plus 30 equal to 58. If we calculate it left to right, then for left to right, first we will add 11 to 3, that is 14. Then 14 will be multiplied by 2, that is 28, and then 28 plus 30, that is 58. But this is not the correct way. The worksheet takes this formula in ordered calculation form as under 11 plus 3 into 2 plus 30 is equals to 47 will be the correct result, because first of all the multiplication will take place, that is 3 into 2, that is 6, because multiplication has higher priority than addition and subtraction. Then the addition, then the 11 will be added to 6, and then the same will be added to 30. So you will have result as 47 in the end. Functions are predefined formulas that perform calculation by using specific values called argument. Argument are the value passed to a function using which function carries out some task. It can be number, text, logical values, true or false. Logical values are true or false, ranges or cell reference. It can also be a formula, constant or other function. Then structure. The structure of a function begins with the function name. So whenever we see the structure of a function, the first thing we see is the name of function, followed by an opening parenthesis, then the list of arguments that are to be passed in function separated by commas, and finally a closing parenthesis, as we can see in the given example. The example is shown as the sum is a function which has number 1, number 2, so on up to number 30 as its argument. Now there are many type of functions used in worksheet. They are categorized as first date and time functions, deals with the date and time from the system. The first function under this category is today. The function is used for displaying today's date in a blank worksheet. Then we have now function. It is similar function, but it also includes current time. That means the now function will show you the current date as well as current time. Then day serial number function returns the day of a date that as an integer from 1 to 30. That means it will show you the day of month. Then we have a month function which gives you the month in integer form, that is from 1 to 12. Any number, for example, the month is January, then it will give you 1. If month is December, then it will give you 12 as a number in the output. Similarly, we have year that returns the year corresponding to a particular date. Then we have second category, that is mathematical function. First of all, we have sum if function. If is the function which adds the cell as per given specified criteria. Syntax of this is as follows: sum if, then range. Within the argument, first argument is range, second is criteria, and third is sum range, where range is the range of cells to evaluate. Criteria means the condition in the form of a number, expression, or text that defines which cells will be added. For example, criteria can be expressed as greater than 15 or books or 1500. Sum range are the actual cells that are to be summed. Then second function is called round function. This is function to rounds a number to a specified number of digits. For example, you have a number having fractional number and you want to round it up to a specific number of digits after decimal point. So the syntax of the function is round number and then number of digits up to which you want to round the number. Next function is count. This is the function which counts the number of cells that contains numbers and counts number within a list argument. That means it simply gives you the total number of cells which contains any number in a given range. Then count if function is used with two parameters, range and criteria. This function counts the number of cells within a range that meets the given criteria. In this function, the range is one or more cells to count, including numbers or names, arrays, and references that contain numbers. The blank cell and text values are simply ignored in this case. Then we have sum, average, minimum, and maximum function. These are the functions. The sum function is used to get the sum of values in a given range. Average function returns the average of values in a given function. Maximum function returns the maximum value in a given range, while minimum function returns the minimum value in a given range. Now let us see another type, logical function. This function returns one of the two values depending upon a set of test condition. The syntax is if test semicolon value 1 semicolon value 2. So this function where the test is refers to the logical value or expression that returns a logical. This is basically a test condition which evaluates either true or false. Depending on this value, either the value 1 will be written or the value 2 will be written. So let us see this example. If a1 is greater than 5, then 100. Otherwise, there is a typing mistake here. This is if a1 greater, it should be greater than 5. So if the value a1 is greater than 5, it returns 100. Otherwise, it returns too small. Next thing is sorting of data. Sorting means to arrange data in a particular order, either in ascending or descending order. But before sorting data, we must decide the criteria on which we have to sort the data. Let us have the following data of employees, and suppose we want to arrange the data department wise, and within department wise, salary wise in descending order. So this is employee data, you can see in the figure. Now let us see how we can perform this task. The criteria to sort the data is as follows. Sort the department field, the first field, Within each department in descending order of salary field, the second field, and as under. The steps are: first of all, select the range of data to be sorted, that is from A2 to D2, D7, sorry. And now click on data menu, then choose sort. It will open sort dialog box as in the given figure. In sort dialog box, we can choose department, and then we for as first level, and then we on add level, and then a second field arrives, then by field, in which we can choose salary, and the order can be defined as largest to smallest. Finally we click on OK, and our data will be arranged as per our requirement. Now the next thing is how we can take the printout of a worksheet. Printing of worksheet. A worksheet can be printed. We can print either entire worksheet, or we can print a particular selected range, or we can print an entire workbook. That means all the worksheet contained in a workbook. To select a range of cell to print, if we want to select a particular range of cells to print, we will go to file menu, then we click on print option, or we can press Ctrl P from keyboard also. It shows a print dialog box. In this dialog box, under print, select the option you want, and now you have to select from three options, either selected cells, or selected sheet option, or all sheet option. Selected cells will allow you to print on the selected range, and this range you are supposed to select prior to invoking the print command. Similarly, you have for printing selected sheets, you will have to select the sheets that you want to print first, and then you will choose the print option, print command, and then you will select selected sheet option from there. And to choose all sheets options, if we want to print entire workbook, we have to select choose all sheet options from the given options. Under desired number of printed copies in the box named number of copies. So suppose we want 3 copies of the document, we can type 3 here. Select the number of pages to be printed in print range box. How many pages we want to print, that we have to specify in print range box, and finally we click on OK button. This is the screenshot of print command and print dialog box. Now if you want to save a file in a different format, what we are supposed to do, we simply select save as option from file menu. The save as dialog box appears as shown in the figure, and in save as type, we can choose the desired format, and then we type a file name, and finally we click on save button. This will save our file with a given format. Next is password protection. As you know, we can protect our file using a password, and if you want to do so, we have to add password protection to a document. We use the same save as dialog box, and the steps are: go to save as options of file menu, and from save as dialog box there is a checkbox named save with password. We have to tick this box, and finally we click on save button. That will ask you to enter password by displaying a set password dialog box. Now we can type a password in 2 boxes and click OK. We have to type the password twice for the confirmation. Now let us see this dialog box in next slide. So this is the slide where in save as dialog box at the bottom you can see that is pointed. save with password checkbox, and it is ticked as soon when we click on save button. We get set password dialog box in which we enter the password, and then we enter the password again for confirmation, and then we click on OK button. So this is all about session 2 of spreadsheet, and this completes your session. Thank you very much.